Hey there, I don't even know if I'm going to share this video yet. I just wanted to do a video update for a bit anyway, and I actually just had dinner with Kim earlier and everything, and so it's kind of fresh in my mind since we had talked a little bit about it. But anyway, so I, again, was thinking in my mind that it was Josephine, that was his father. But basically, and I even had it attached to Josephine just because I was too lazy to move it. And so I deleted Ronnie from this tree, actually, which probably is going to mess up all the DNA connection stuff until I get it all configured again correctly. But regardless, I just curious what Ancestry would find. I added Ronald J. Crone, and then made it, like your dad and everything. And the reason, again, so let me go back here. So I talked to Kim about this earlier. Maria um, has been by far and away really the most helpful person in this endeavor. Um, and she's one of the relatives, obviously, on the Mexican side. And I got a response from her pretty quick tonight. She hadn't responded to my last couple communications, so I had been staying on the down low. But she does, she's interested in talking. All that sounds great. And so that's kind of why I wanted to do this video also, just so you kind of have a little bit of a refresher on some of the background and why I'm thinking the things that I'm thinking. But it shouldn't be too terribly painfully long or anything. So basically, if I can get the right thing pulled up, again, DNA points to their family. We know about the Grego side. It's one of the two brothers for sure. I can go in more into that, another day. Me and Kim went into that tonight. Now, Maria did suspect that if it were to be anybody, it would be either Mimi, Hilda, or Josephine. And I'm terrible with names. I actually thought it was Mimi, Hilda, and I just thought she was also called Josephine. um, but no, Josephine is a different person. Passed away in 2011. So if it is who we believe it is, I say that just because I'm very conservative in my approach. But the reason why we believe that it is her is this reason here. So, now again, the way that I found this is I searched the entire Missouri Birth Index, and there's actually a website, MissouriBirthIndex.com. You can do a search for free. The problem is it is slow. And if you don't, like, I did searches between certain dates, and I did a specific amount of search as you can possibly do. Like, I was looking for, like, just like Ron in 1949 and Silverman's in 1949. And, like, I searched and I got all these different results, and there was only one that made any sense at all. And the fact that it is, let me bring it up here. Of course, because I wanted to give you an idea, like, so whenever you search all records, like, this is kind of what comes up. And obviously, like, none of these are your dad. Like, these are people in other states. And there's nobody that's a connection to him. Okay, so, oh yeah, forgot to do that. So, and again, it's like, like that guy was in California. So here we go. So the Missouri birth registers. So, and again, you guys can play with that website, MissouriBirthIndex.com, and you guys can search any little combination you want to between any dates, and it will pull up, but the results, but this was the only one that was any relevancy at all. And I want to say that it was the only Ronald born on this day in the state. I knew all the details at the time. Um, his birthday, Ronald Joseph Crone. And again, normally this would be a dead end. It'd be like, well, we don't know who that is. But I see no evidence that this guy ever existed. I cannot find any public records. I cannot find any obituary. I cannot find anything at all, period. And it just does not appear that this guy ever existed. And why he never existed would be because I believe this was actually your dad. And Crone is the last name of Hilda's, not husband, but that was just the guy that she was with. And Janet was her daughter that she had a few years before Ronnie with this guy as well. And so that is why it pinpoints her as being the mother. And so basically Ronnie would be like a half sibling to Janet, who is still alive. And if you guys do talk to Kim, maybe she'll be able, maybe you can talk to Janet. I mean, who knows? I've not had any communication with her. But anyway, so that's kind of why we're thinking that. And again, I have searched endlessly to try to find a Ronald Crone of any type in Missouri or anywhere in the area. And and again, that you can try, you can really expand the search. I mean, like I think there was one other one in Missouri, and I had to do a little bit of digging, but no, he married somebody else. He passed away somewhere else. Like, it wasn't your dad, obviously, but there was only one person that it honestly could have been, and it's probably one of these fellows here that come up in the search, but I'm not going to bore you and go through all these results. But anyway, so that's what I was just going to go over that. And so, yeah, as far as the birth certificate goes, I can include the link in the description. I mentioned to Kim that it may be tricky to get a birth certificate because I have never been in this situation, and I don't know how people that do genealogy, I don't know how often they would be in this situation either. But you're in the unique situation of trying to get a birth certificate for your father, whose name we believe was falsified. And so his last name was Crone on there. And so you're going to have to try to prove, I think that's what the policy is, that you're related to a Ronald Crone, which doesn't make sense. But again, you may not even have to prove your relationship. I'm going to have to go over all the rules and all that stuff. So that may be irrelevant. I don't know. But I know for some things, like military records and stuff like that, you have to prove your relationship. So anyway, but that is all. Just one other thing, in case you're wondering who Maria is and who, like, you guys would be speaking to, she is actually a child of Celia. She is actually, she married a guy with the last name of Hutchinson, but she is actually Celia's daughter. So that is who that actually is. Anyway, I'm gonna turn this off now.